Hello and welcome to Xena Warrior Podcast Minisodes. My name is Vera and I'm joined as always by my two obvious co-hosts, Katie.
Hi.
And Livy.
Hi.
Hello. Boy,
Hi.
do we have a old school style treat for y'all today.
Yes,
Well,
we do.
old school for our podcast would be us doing like Chariots of War in 30 minutes. That's
20 minutes.
20 minutes, excuse me. That's the ultimate old
That's
school.
ultimate.
It's actually us being really short.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
Good point.
I can't believe.
Yeah, it used to be that way. Yeah, today we're going to be talking about Xena.
Whoa.
And Subtext. And possibly Subtext's main text, because that's what it fucking was.
What is the difference?
Yeah, exactly. But before we begin, just some few things. We want to say hello and welcome to our new listeners and patrons out there.
Yes.
Welcome aboard. We're so happy to have you. So,
Hi, Phil.
Oh.
Can you hear him,
I think
everyone?
Phil's like, excuse me, I signed up for Patreon and no one even gave me a bone.
Phil, do you have a favorite subtext moment from Xena?
I think he liked Married with Fish Sticks a lot.
he loved
Lil
Married with
Prawn.
Fish Sticks. Lil Prawn!
That's you. Yeah.
But in all seriousness, we have a lot of fun things planned on Patreon. More episodes of our exclusive Lucy Lawless, the IMDb experience. I believe the next episode is going to cover Spartacus.
Spartacus.
Yeah, y'all, you want to tune into that.
So yeah, we're very excited to do that. And yeah, thank you to everyone who's
thank you.
come on board recently.
Yeah, and you guys have been sending us messages on Facebook. Thank you, welcome. And we wanted to give a special shout out to our listener, Ellie, who had sent us a audio message before as she's recovering from concussion syndrome. Thank you so much, Ellie, for that message. We love that you're a brunette with glasses, just like us.
Join
Represent.
Join us.
And your message was really sweet, and we're so happy to have you with us here, and we hope you feel better.
But you're resilient, so
Yes,
we
exactly.
know you will.
Yeah, that's right. And one more shout out, it's a rec really, for Adventures in the Known World, which is a Xena-inspired D&D situation that our Xenites, like fellow Xenites from Xenite Retreat, have started. So if you like Critical Role and stuff like that, right? And you like watching people play D&D,
Yes.
and you like Xena?
Yeah, I bet they do.
Yeah, and so you can check out Adventures in the Known World on Twitch.
Sweet.
It's twitch.tv/knownworldadventures. That is twitch.tv/knownworldadventures. So yeah, thanks Robin for giving us a heads up that you guys are doing this. It's great. And it's like, it's like set in the Xena and Hercules universe.
That's
It's
super fun.
not like Xena and Gabs, but it's like in that universe. So
Gotcha.
it's cool people playing cool characters.
Gotcha. It's like I watched that on Deadwood thing.
Right.
Critical Role did because I love Deadwood.
But didn't they had like
Characters
Characters
from
from
Yeah,
Deadwood.
but the players are not those
Ah,
characters.
yes, exactly.
They were like part of the universe, but like everyone
Yeah.
was their own character.
Right, because you need the freedom
Right.
to create your own.
Exactly.
all right, so in the known Xena universe, there is Xena and Gabs, and they are hella gay together.
Yeah.
But are they?
Oh,
But are there? So what
yeah.
is this prompt? What is this?
Yes.
What is the question?
Okay.
Of the day?
So this is a listener-suggested Minisode topic. Diane writes, I can't remember if you've done this yet, but if not,
Okay.
what about a roundup of Xena Warrior Princess's greatest subtext/main text moments? We haven't really done it. Obviously, we've done
We've done it in the show. In the show.
We've gone through
yes,
every
exactly.
episode talking about them.
So it feels like we've done it.
I can see why, like, I was going to make a joke, like, if we have done it, it must not have been very memorable. I can't remember if we've done it or not. But I agree. Like, I was kind of surprised we haven't done a whole episode that is this, per se.
Our queer baiting episode, though, obviously that was kind of wide-ranging in that it wasn't just about Xena. But when we talked about Xena, I feel like we did touch on this issue of subtext, maintext, and the debate around it. But it's been a while.
It has been a long time.
We haven't talked about it in great detail.
Okay.
So now is the moment.
All right.
Well, yeah, we should begin with the answering the question, what is subtext and what is maintext? What's the difference here?
Yeah,
what's going on?
Yeah, what's subtext generally?
Yeah, what is it? It's not text.
It's not text.
Is there like a real definition we want to read?
The text.
Yeah, that's true. Would you like
read a real
the
definition?
Merriam-Webster definition of what subtext is?
I was going to say, Liv, you're the most literary. You should define it.
An underlying and often distinct theme in a piece of writing or conversation.
Okay.
So, an
this theme of gayness.
Underlying theme of gayness.
Got it.
But it is not addressed directly.
Right. It is not announced explicitly.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
So you got to read underneath the text.
Yeah.
Some people see it. Some people don't.
Yeah, and that's why it never makes the lists of actual canon gay stuff, right? Because it's
generally
so subtextual.
Well, that's the thing, and I think that we have. Well, no, because I feel like we have definitely gone over this.
Yeah, we have
specifically us in particular. I think as a trio are very
as a threesome.
Adamant,
is that what you were going to say? I think you were.
Are very adamant that the show is as canon as can be, but especially by the end of it. And I think at this point in time, understanding the show, how it was produced, the intention of the creators and the writers as it developed over time, that to exclude it from lists that are quote-unquote canon queer couples is silly.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, it's silly. Because it might have started as subtext, but by the end, I think we and many of our listeners also agree that I think that you can no longer call it subtext. And any argument that still tries to say, oh, isn't it a shame that Xena never made Xena and Gabrielle canon,
can go fuck itself.
Yes. I think, a losing argument.
Yeah.
If you want to still make it, I think, unfortunately, you might still be able to, but I think you'd have a hard time making the case by the end.
Yeah.
Does that feel fair?
That's intriguing.
Because I think a lot of people still try and say that it's not.
Right. But I feel
explicit.
that's almost like an ahistorical way of, like, it's just people who don't remember the show and look back on it being like, oh, it's just a bunch of winky wink, oh, look at them, they're in a hot tub together. It's not really remembering, like, hey, whole episodes are about them being soulmates and they kiss multiple times.
And I think too, everyone kind of approaches their relationship from a different way. And, like, there are all sorts of different levels of what is text in the show and what is not text. So, like, bringing it to Xena, we found an interesting article on Whoosh that, what is it? It's basically, it's like how, how we were going through the 12 best and worst of the whole show. This was like a reader-voted list of the best subtext episodes. So we can read that list of the episodes themselves. And then part of the article has a bit from Whoosh founder Kim that sort of divides the different kind of subtext that there is. Yeah. And there's subtext that's about sex. Xena and Gabrielle, do they have a sexual relationship?
Subsext.
Subsext. And I think that, for a lot of people, and especially early in Xena, that is what the subtext maybe was.
Yeah.
And then there is another definition Kim has that says, the soulmate subtext. And for me, that is just
Subtext.
Soultext.
Soultext versus subsext.
Yeah.
And
Say it three times fast.
I found that interesting because I think when I'm watching it, so I'm going to put this all like based on like my personal opinion of like what I see in the show, is that I absolutely firmly, Xena and Gabrielle are in a queer relationship together. Whether they're having sex or not, could be up for debate, and whether that is important is sort of a different can of worms. And then
which we've talked about.
Which we've talked about.
Yeah.
And like the soulmate subtext, I think, is the show's main text. Like, I wouldn't call that subtext. I think that is like the main text of these two are defined by the show as being in a relationship where they are soulmates.
Yeah, that literally
That is
transcends
the plot.
boundaries of time and space.
Yeah, and so like Liv, I think you had an interesting definition earlier that was like fairly straightforward, so quote unquote, that was like anything that's like main text is like the plot of Xena or of episodes of Xena, and anything that's subtext is maybe something I would maybe define as being a little bit more winky wink at sexy time stuff.
It's self-contained as a moment, so you can almost like avoid it. Like if you don't want to see it's there, you can literally just kind of avoid those 5 seconds of screen time. You know, and it does. And if you were to cut them, it wouldn't affect
the episode.
No. But say if you were to do that with Ides of March, cut out the gay stuff from Ides of March, there just wouldn't.
There's no episode.
It would be like footage not found. You know?
where fates collide, it's gone.
And I do think there is like if you graft like these two different trends of sort of like winky wink subtext and soul text or main text episodes sort of become the thrust of the show in kind of the second half. I think there's more and more of that kind of storytelling and less of the like, oh my god, we're fishing, but it sounds like we're fucking, you know.
Right. Exactly.
Oh my god.
Which is in a way maybe it's a good because it becomes like more, I guess, serious.
Yeah.
Well, it matures and they accept the fact that they are gay.
They're doing it. Like,
they stop doing boyfriends of the week.
Right.
And they start.
And doesn't it also kind of
accepting
mirror the progression of a relationship? In the early days, it
The
just
honeymoon
feels
period.
maybe like a fun hookup. And then later, it's like serious business.
Yeah, and I think it also speaks, again, highly of the creators and people making the show who were on board. And I think that piece gets, like, lost or looked over a lot. That, like, when you're talking about Xena and Subtext, that, like, it really is just, like, everybody by the end was on board. They were doing it as much as was humanly possible. Yeah. It's not like the whole relationship is Subtext. Like,
no, but not. Even boyfriends of the week became girlfriends of the week, which is very progressive.
Exactly.
So.
Okay, so wait, so the prompt is we're going through the best.
Yes,
the best,
I believe so.
It's like a list of them.
Yeah,
right?
a roundup of the greatest.
Greatest, okay.
But we could also talk about the bad ones.
I don't know. Are there bad ones?
I can think of one.
What's a
bad one?
I would say a bad one is Comedy of Errors.
Oh, yeah.
That moment that we actually called queer baiting.
Yeah, that's a really bad one.
Yeah, when it looks like Gabrielle's going to get hit with the arrow. And fall in love with Xena,
right.
and that's just the show messing with us.
Yeah,
and that was bad.
That's the worst one.
That's
You're
really
right.
I would say a good subtext moments is a moment where the show looks at you and says, like, "I see you. I know what you want, and I'm giving it to you." Not a moment where it's like, "I see you. I know what you want. Fuck you."
But here's Joxer.
Yeah, here's Joxer.
Oh my God.
Instead.
And now also too the prompt just says of Xena, so it does not single out Xena Gabrielle.
That's
so this is an open book.
Yeah, that's right. There are plenty.
There are some moments I would say that are not Xena Gabs that I appreciate.
That's
subtextually, and a lot of them actually are sort of main texty too. Fun.
Okay, should we start subtext and move to main text?
I guess so. Chronologically, in a way, that's like I've been saying, sort of the progression of the show. Yeah.
Okay. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Do you does anybody have a preference? Do you like the winky wink stuff better than the like serious? That's a show, so it's hard. It's a kind of a dumb.
Well, it depends.
they're
It depends.
different flavors.
There's different
Yeah.
types of that winky wink because there's the like fisting of fish in Altered States all the way in season 1, right? You think she's doing some kinky shit under the water, but she's just grabbing that fucking fish. I mean, it's doing
Wait, is
kinky
that
shit.
episode?
She's doing kinky shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
Altered
wow.
States begins
Yeah.
with Altered States is
Holy
very
shit.
horny.
I have to say,
That's so
she's
early.
doing unruly things to the fish. I mean, that's not great.
I think the actual phrase "fisting a fish" is from Finn's Femmes.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
Jazz,
But it is
she
what
is
it is.
literally in the act
That's
of
what it is.
fisting of
I mean,
fishing.
I personally
Yeah.
don't
Right,
don't
okay.
like that.
Yeah.
You're combining a lot of
I got
references.
you. Yeah.
It's the same.
She
like,
does.
yeah.
She fishes a lot.
She fishes
Yeah.
a lot, and
You
that's
see.
like what. And I think at that point we're supposed to know what it is because we learned it in Altered States.
Right. Gotcha.
Because we're fish connoisseurs. We're Rob
I'm on the
Tapper.
same page. Listen, it's hot in here. I've been drinking these Mai Tais in a can to prepare for this episode.
That's where we're at right now. We drink Mai Tais out of cans.
Which is sad because no,
Yeah,
because I
yes.
have been making really great ones.
Yeah, listeners, Katie has become a true like bartender,
A tiki
mixologist
bartender.
here. Our house is filled with rum, guys, and as a whiskey drinker, I'm like, oh my god, there's so much rum.
We can get more whiskey as well.
We literally
I made
don't
a great
have any
Manhattan
scotch
last
right
night.
now.
Well, it's summer, so it's the time.
That's right. It is.
The
It's
time
time
Yeah.
for
rum.
tiki. It's time for.
But who knows what
luau's.
season it is?
Okay, listen. Back to fishing
Yeah.
and fisting those fish.
Is fishing like as a symbol on the show? Is fishing just sex? Like.
Yeah.
yeah,
Whenever
because you gotta lure
Xena
someone
being
in.
obsessed with fishing is like Xena being like a sexaholic.
Are you calling Rob a sexaholic? He's obsessed with fishing.
I mean, if you want to go there.
I don't think anybody wants us to go there.
But yeah, I do feel like whenever fishing comes up, there's a kind of like nudge, nudge, wink, wink back to Altered States and the fact that fishing equals Gabs and Xena having sex.
I guess. I mean, she does do it mostly literally hands-on. So that's why it's an intimate sort of
need
fishing
to.
skill.
Yeah.
So is
that way.
fisting a fish that's on your list? That's
Yeah, as a subtext, the first sort of like really intense one.
Again, Altered States, not the line fisting
Not the
a
No,
line.
fish.
Altered States where you think she's going like down on her, I guess, under the water.
Yeah.
That episode has a bunch of them.
I think that's
Yeah.
a great place to start because I do think that's some of the earliest, aside from just like
Plus,
you
she's
know,
naked in that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think retroactively when you go and watch just the very beginning of the show, there's so many things in it that are super queer coded about Gabrielle, but just as like a
Right, sins
subtext
of the past.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which we've talked about ad nauseum.
Yeah.
That I think that is one of the first like actual subtext
Yeah.
moments. It's where they like pan across their
Oh yeah,
clothes.
with the clothes.
Right.
It's
In the
real
shrubbery.
overt. It's
Right.
real overt.
Yeah, and it's sort of making the viewer into sort of a voyeur about it. Like, you assume it's one thing, and they kind of go like, oh, you dirty-minded viewer. They're
How
just
dare you.
fishing.
Yeah, so that's the first one I can think of. That's like super.
That's a very good one and
But
a
then,
very good place to
also
start.
in that episode, they're like, they've fallen down a well, and
Oh, yeah.
Gab's like
climbs
climbs
over
over
her boobs.
Xena's body.
Yeah.
And I have that in Move Your Body because it is very just like, it's Gabrielle just like literally climbing over
yeah.
Xena.
And isn't there a line like, "Are you enjoying this?"
Something like
Something
that.
like that.
They also did the same sort of move regarding like the pan across. We're getting to it. There's suggestive dialogue happening like later. I don't remember the episode, but she's giving her a massage.
Oh, yeah. There was like this period in 4th season where Xena was obsessed with getting massages from Gabs.
Oh, yeah.
That was like a string of episodes.
That's when the
So I don't
Girlfriends of
remember
the Week
exactly
start,
which it
FYI.
was.
Suggestive
It might have been
dialogue.
locked up and tied down.
A very gay episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
very
yeah.
good, very gay.
Super
This
gay.
is such a broad
crabby.
topic. We're gonna be here all day.
Shout out to Crabs Woman, one of my favorite girlfriends of the week.
Oh, for sure. No, I was going to say, I just wanted to, like, I honed in on when you said suggestive dialogue, because that's not something that we mentioned so far when we were talking about subtext, as being, like, kind of winky-wink sex stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of suggestive
There's a
dialogue.
lot of
That's
suggestive dialogue.
basically what
A lot of them
I
are
consider
that.
to be...
Yeah.
I think, and I don't think that that's necessarily what the word subtext means to everyone when they're watching Xena, but I think that that's basically what it means to me.
Or these
Yeah.
little side comments where you're just like, what
Because
was
the
that?
other stuff is text.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
and then they're like in a bathtub together, and they're like, "Oh my god, does
Right.
the soap up your butt?" Like,
And then, like, by
Except
season
they don't
6,
say that.
they're like...
Now it'd be text. Yeah, and then season 6 like gives no fucks, as we
yeah,
said.
oh yeah,
She says, "Where's the soap?" in season 2.
she does.
Yeah,
that's what I
but
said.
it's
up
not
her
up
butt.
your upper butt.
But
No,
That
why
part.
would it be there?
as if it is.
Who wants that?
No one, but maybe
Don't
some
say
people.
no one.
Maybe some people do.
Someone's
yeah.
into that.
Okay, wait. What's happening? Did we have a structure for this?
We were talking about subtext.
Yeah,
and,
we're
like,
still on
the
subtext
silly,
right now.
Silly
Okay.
subtexty.
Fave of these sorts of
So
moments.
did everybody start with like their favorite? I don't know if I
No.
necessarily ordered any of these, but I have a few here listed.
Let's hear them.
All of them at once?
Yeah, let's
or
hear
just
your
around the
subtext
room
moment.
over.
Okay. Let's hear what you gotta say.
Okay, well, I'll start with my favorite one.
Yes.
Okay, this is my absolute favorite one. It's from the episode Kindred Spirits.
Ooh, I didn't expect it to be so late.
I know, because that kind of stuff kind of stops by then. And then that
off.
episode is also very main texty, I think, just in general.
Yeah.
Because
it's
it
about
is
their
about
relationship.
Yeah. It's about them like being like, let's move into a house with this baby.
Oh shit, kicks and stuff. Yeah.
Huh?
When she's
Yeah,
too old to do
kicks and
kicks and
Yeah,
stuff.
when I'm told,
My
but
favorite
like
line.
because Xena, she doesn't want to, but like maybe she would.
She'd do it to make Debs happy,
So anyway,
or would
that's
she?
the episode is like literal main text is let's live in this house and raise this baby. Like how that's like not subtext to me. But there is my favorite of the suggestive winky winks that, again, much more common earlier on, is Queen Gabs is asleep on her throne or whatever in her like Amazon Queen chair, and gets woken up, and in her moment of waking up is having some kind of dream where she says, "Not tonight," and then is awake. That is my ultimate favorite. There are so many that are good. There really are. So it's really hard to pinpoint. But I just think that it's late season. It's also season 5, which is
Yeah, you gotta cling to these bright moments.
and it's so funny but it's also too like. So in a later stage development of their relationship, like not tonight, LOL.
Yes,
Right,
we're way past that honeymoon period where they're fucking
It's
all
funny.
the time. Yeah.
That's my top tippity top.
Okay.
Just little tiny random line.
I like that. It reminds me of I guess I was trying to say that earlier, where there's like even in the subtext, like the sex stuff, there's like a silly version of it where it's like the, fisting a fish or like whatever the altered states stuff is. And then there's like, it's still sexy, but it's like nice. Like when Xena like reaches for Gabrielle when she's sleeping, right? And Gabrielle's not there.
That's such a good one.
Yeah, so that's not I wouldn't call that like silly, like in that same way, but it is a very subtextual moment. Like what you doing, like grabbing for her at night.
Honestly, that's
in the
almost
bedroom.
main to me because that's like
Right.
Xena literally making a movement and like being like, I'm about to cuddle my lady, and she's not there. Like she's still like half asleep.
Yeah.
Like like
She
that's
wanted to
like
spoon.
what is
Yeah.
she doing otherwise?
And those eps, the debt are so about their relationship and girlfriends of the past.
But this is the debt.
jealousy.
The debt
No.
is that's like we're branching out.
This
Yeah.
is also on
Xena,
my list.
yeah.
I'm sure it's on everyone else's list as well.
Because it has
As a
fly
subtext.
fucking.
I have written right here,
Fly
fly fucking.
Fly fucking, maybe.
Which is a
Well,
weird
what
thing
about,
to say.
I almost like even better than fly fucking, I don't eat meat.
Oh.
Very good.
That's, you know what, that's a hipster answer. I didn't even
That's a good one.
think of that. And you're right.
It's excellent.
It's so good.
Wow. The debt.
Yeah.
Start to finish.
Yeah, right. I mean,
High
there
marks.
was the, the kiss underwater.
Yes.
For breath.
Forerunner of the water transfer. That's the air transfer.
Yep,
Right.
yep, exactly. But yeah, I do love the fly fucking. It's so
I got
good.
that one. Liv, did you have one? I got Vera has some. I lifted some. I got snore.
Yeah, I know. I almost just don't want to like rob you of any of your delicious subtext.
I don't know. They might not be the same. I'll let you know if they are.
I also wanted like a hipster answer.
Yeah, I love your hipster answers.
And tried to get something from like a later season when they're much rarer. And I don't know if this counts, but I love. And now actually I'm blanking on what episode it's from, but when Xena says that Gabrielle is the father of the baby.
Gabrielle?
Yes.
Gabrielle and
Gabrielle.
Gabs kind of catches Aries' eye and does the eyebrow. I find that like absolutely
Excellent.
That's
like
great.
a punch the air moment. It's
That's
so
a good
cute.
one. I considered it. It's not on my post-it.
I think Callisto being the father of Xena's baby should be main text.
That is main. That is main text.
That is main text. That's
As
explicitly said.
If it is
Maybe a little too explicitly. Thanks, show.
Right. Yeah, I do think that is just a very good way of looking at things. If it's really the plot of the show, then it is main text, and that is the plot.
That's the fucking plot.
That is the plot. No
Can
other
you
show
believe-
has done this.
Oh no. No other show
Maybe.
has done that. No way. That is the most bonkers thing.
All right,
It's
I have a
strictly
couple.
Xena.
Here's a couple other little cute ones that I have on my my little list here. I just love in Been There, Done That. Joxers, is that a hickey?
Oh yeah.
I think that's cute.
Gabrielle's
AF.
reaction.
Gabrielle's
right?
reaction
Little
specifically.
guilty face.
Yeah, because and again, it's like if she has some kind of hickey, what is it from?
That's right.
I
Yeah.
love that one.
Yeah, that one has a lot of moments.
And I only have one other that's just like a little line, so I'll list that too. And that's, I think we would be remiss, and I think people would come at us if we don't talk about A Day in the Life.
Yeah.
I almost didn't want to say anything from it just because it's such an obvious, but it's obvious for so many reasons. And one being that's very great. One of my favorite little lines from there is Gabrielle's, she likes what I do.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good early one.
Yeah.
It's a great one.
Any other subtext moments we want to call out?
I mean, there's so many. Like the fact that, okay, so because the prompt was like best, so I interpreted it as my favorite. So a couple more that I wrote down on my list that are my favorite. I personally think that if I didn't have this on my favorite, that would be ridiculous for me, and that's Girls Just Want to Have Fun entirely.
Oh, yes.
yeah.
But also specifically like the Gabs turning Xena into a Buckeye.
Yeah.
I, to this day, kind of consider that my favorite episode that I
the
prepared
show?
for.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was
yeah.
so great
Sorry.
shit. Yeah.
That's a great podcast.
Of me
Yes,
speaking.
yes.
Not of the show. But just because, and this is a kind of a problematic topic, and I do think we went into it in general.
Problematic.
Oh, it's problematic. But you can go back and
I think
listen
we
to Girls Just
retired
Wanna
the
Have
jar,
Fun.
but
Yeah.
You can hear
Sorry,
you can
guys.
hear the drop in your heads.
But I do think that
Just
there-
like you can hear the applause for Katie patting herself on the back.
I do just really like the tradition of horror, going all the way back to like the Carmilla of things, and just this tradition of having lesbian vampires as a trope in horror that on the one hand is problematic, on the other hand is super fun. I really enjoyed doing that episode, and it's super fun in the show, and hot and sexy, and vampires biting people as a metaphor is a big sexy times metaphor across the board. And Gabs doing it to Xena is fucking fantastic. A plus plus plus.
Here, here.
All right, my one more thing. So I did not tonight. I got hickey. We talked about fly fucking. I said likes what I do. Talk about the Bakai. My other fave that I have on my list, and this is the end of my list, even though of course we could just be here all day.
So many more.
But again, like you guys, I was trying to think of some kind of off the beaten path things, and I was like, well, what are my favorite episodes? Why are they my favorite episodes? So I went straight to my favorite, which
The
is
Abyss.
A Family Affair.
Oh, sorry.
The Abyss is very good.
I know. I should have known that one.
It is banana pants that I have not mentioned it. I that is true. But I went to a family affair scene where Xena meets Gabrielle's parents.
Yeah.
And Gabrielle's dad is like
Yes.
very accusatory at her about corrupting Gabs. It's a little intense and maybe not as fun as some of the other scenes.
No, but it's there.
Xena
and
makes
it's
a great face, and
It's so
like
good.
that's so good. Like
It's so
Xena
good.
meeting the in-laws. Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems...
That's actually verging into, like,
verging
what I
to
almost
Matrix?
say, yeah. I sort of, in my mind, had, like, most of my favorite scenes, I feel like, for this prompt are almost between subtext and main text. Like,
That's
I love
true.
that. I love, like, early in Athens Academy when Gab says she wants to go to Athens Academy and you see Xena's, like, hurt feelings. Like, that's subtext in the sense that, like, Xena herself is making the decision not to make a text. Like, not to say, I'm gonna miss you, I love you.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's, like, its own category, is moments when the characters are not verbalizing something consciously, but you, the viewer, understand that it's there. There's another really great one in The Price when... Xena gives this beautiful speech about how much Gabs means to her and ends it with,
oh my God.
You don't know how much I love ... that.
Oh no.
And you can tell that isn't just like the writers pulling away from the declaration. That's the character pulling away. But it's still a subtext, but it's like subtext that almost the character places there themselves.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Which I feel like is cool. That's like its own little category of subtext. I feel like all the episodes that involve Xena or Gabs being jealous
Yes.
would go into that.
Oh, man.
Yes, especially Gabs.
They can't verbalize it.
Shit.
Lime green jello bitch.
I mean, yes.
Historically.
Yeah, I
yes.
guess
I shouldn't
so.
say
Is Gabs
bitch so
more
much,
jealous
but
than
it's
Xena
difficult
is
to get
jealous?
out of my... Okay.
She just presents it in a
yeah.
different way. And yes.
That is interesting.
She's
I feel her
she's insecure.
self-loathing when she sees Gabs happy with someone else. She's like, I don't like this, but it's what I deserve.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
God.
Whereas when Gabs sees it, she's like, bitch,
Yeah.
she should be with me.
That's more textbook jealousy, which is what I'm thinking of.
Yes,
yes.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the list is long for
So
jealous
long.
moments. Our favorite episode, Ulysses.
Oh my God.
Antony and Cleopatra.
Antony and Cleopatra
Oh,
is a great
shit.
one.
But then flip it, what you were talking about, Najara.
Najara, one of my
Najara.
favorites. Yeah.
First girlfriend of the
Xena
week.
is willing to actually let that be.
Because
Yeah.
of the self-loathing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is
Oh.
an incredible story beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's like so main text with the burns, the burn unit situation that's going on
And
there.
to be fair with Perdiccas too, even though I know he's a man, Xena's willing to kind of stand back and let it happen.
Okay, on that note.
Perdiccas. Yeah, let's pivot.
On that note, I find it interesting that none of us in our just jotting down of the sort of subtext lines and things, like, people would normally consider stuff like the kiss in Return of Callisto and the quest and things like that, subtext. Are
You know
they
how I feel
subtext?
about the quest.
But are they subtext?
The quest is debatable because I feel there is something wink about it because of the Autolycus.
Yeah.
Right, but it is Xena.
Would
Making
Xena
the
be grabbing the
actions.
butt right there? Would
I
she?
don't know.
Right there?
She might.
I don't
don't
think she
know.
would be. I don't think she would be
I-
grabbing the butt. She's dead.
It's not dead.
Because she's
I'm sorry,
she wouldn't grab the butt.
Vera
It's
said,
not the time.
Vera, I just would like you to know
She's not done.
that my favorite thing about that scene is that it starts with Xena going like, "It's me, I'm not dead," and that's how she sounds.
You know, I've seen that like one time and I block it out because I hate it so much.
It's me, I'm not dead. That's exactly the line.
is not
She's
what-
not dead. She's consciously in Autolycus's body.
So what you're saying is
Okay.
she could grab the butt. 'Cause
She's not going to grab
dead.
the butt there. She just wouldn't.
I think that what Vera is pinpointing here is there is a moment when it's Autolycus again, and that might be the butt grab.
Yeah, because
Right.
it's just not the time for Xena to
Yeah,
do it.
and
she knows
and
it.
I'm sort of with Vera on this.
But
and
the
that,
kissing
like, the kiss
Is Xena.
is
Sure.
Xena.
Sure.
It's
They get this
immediately
close.
Yeah.
undermined by this
undermined.
butt-grabbing Autolycus moment. And for me, that somehow kind of switches
Ruins
it
it?
into subtext.
Yeah, it ruins it. It fucking
It
ruins
pulls
it.
you out.
I don't necessarily
I feel
agree in the sense that I think I am capable of honing in on the first bit, which is like the majority just this like spiritual plane, Xena and Gabrielle getting like basically this close to their lips touching before it cuts away. And that's like actively just those two characters.
Right.
Yeah.
That are
It's
about
very
to mouth
clear.
kiss.
Yeah.
That is a moment
That's
between them.
like-
What's happening?
Romantic.
And you can't discount
That's-
everything that came before, which is Gab's, like trying to resurrect Xena, like, mourning her and like doing all this stuff, like
Yeah.
basically on this sort of like, nightly quest to save Xena.
It
Yeah.
would have been also remiss to not mention those.
But yeah, of course, the
Yeah.
side mouth kiss in Return of Callisto,
I
which
think
is...
that's main text.
It is main text.
But it's supposed to be some kind of like friendly kiss. I
No
very much
fucking friends
enjoy.
kiss
friend
themselves on the
does
corner of the
that.
mouth.
No.
Right before you
Mar-
get married to a dude.
I'm pretty sure that
Or
there's
anyone.
a video of Lucy and Renee watching this, where it's one of those moments where they forgot that happened, and you see them react to it in real time. That the kiss
Yeah.
at the Perdiccas wedding, and Lucy, I think, is just like, oh, I see how people saw this relationship this way.
Yeah, I kind of remember this moment.
Yeah.
And they're like they had forgotten it and were
Yeah.
shocked it existed.
Exactly.
Which is, I think, a very good summation of why those people who often say like the show isn't actually gay have literally just forgotten the show.
Exactly.
To
Yeah,
be reminded
that's
just
true.
Yeah.
how like textual queer content is.
Since we're talking about like Return of Callisto and stuff, can we like pivot
about
slightly and
Callisto?
talk about Callisto and how gay that
Absolutely.
shit is?
Because
Yeah.
we would, again, I'm just going to say remiss a lot.
Yeah.
But if we didn't talk about Callisto, whoa.
Yeah, that's not a Xena and Gabrielle relationship. That's a different character.
That's okay. The prompt was the whole show.
Yeah, there can be subtext anywhere.
Oh yeah, so like watch when Xena chases Callisto on that horse in Callisto, and her face is very specific.
I can only see that with I Come With Knives, Vera's vid song over it.
Oh, that does
A very
help.
gay vid.
Very.
And obviously, when Callisto touches the chakram, specifically that
Kisses it.
big
You
mean kisses
moment
it.
She
where
fucking kisses that
it.
shit.
You mean
Yeah, like that is
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, for sure, subtext because that's literally
It's,
dealing
yeah,
in
that's
symbols.
subtext, absolutely.
But
Oh, yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
she's very aware of the symbols. She knows
That's
what she's
fantastic
doing.
subtext. I
Yeah.
almost feel like that's textbook subtext. As we've talked about Xena's chakram and the circular nature of it. Wow, I just
Circularly.
circular. I'm love a Mai Tai in a can, you guys. Being very like a vagina
Yep.
symbol.
And then it kisses
So-
it.
Kiss it.
Listen,
That
She throws it into a
vagina.
watermelon.
I didn't make this stuff up.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
I don't know either. But yeah, a lot of great Callisto stuff.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, and then, there's so much, but if you fast forward all the way from there to Sacrifice 2, of course you have her dying moment where, she can't be dead without completely waterfall collapsing all over Xena's boobs.
Right.
Just totally normal.
Waterfall collapsing.
Yeah,
Right with a smile on her face.
Yeah.
After being penetrated by Xena.
right.
Yep.
Can't
Yep.
forget that.
I don't know what subtext is.
And then she impregnates her
Yep.
with the
That's
with the
text.
bad touch.
Right. Yeah.
And then there was the good touch too. But
Yeah, the good. All right, well,
Their kiss and bittersweet.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
That's one that really gets overlooked, I think.
Yeah.
Because
It does.
It's not Xena and Gabs at all, and that was like not even like side mouth kiss.
I
That was
wanna-
like a kiss.
I was gonna say, I really enjoyed the use of the Callisto Xena kiss in the Xena Gabs promos on Sci-Fi Channel.
Nice.
For the like very gay content in the promos. One of them was definitely Callisto and not Gabrielle.
And that's the
it's so
power.
sexy.
The power of editing.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can
it is the power of editing.
Slip that in.
Yep.
Will anyone notice? Something tells me people did,
But it's very good.
Only if you know the show really well.
yeah.
And it's definitely a moment that you just don't think about it because, you know, it's bittersweet. It's a little weird. Mm-hmm. But,
Yeah, I mean it's probably one of the only times there's a kiss, and you could just say that was symbolic. You know?
Everything in the episode is symbolic.
yes.
But it's also super textual. And then they just flounce around in the sand at the end.
Yeah,
'cause they don't know what to
they don't know
do.
what
That's
to do,
a
literally,
that's a really cute
Remember
moment.
the love of your love is you?
The
Remember
love of
talking
your
about
love.
that?
And of course, reaching through the
waterfall.
wall of water. Yeah,
Beautiful.
So many waterfalls.
So many,
Which
so
we
much
just talked about
water.
recently.
Yeah.
So I think we need to segue into
Yeah, we're pivoting to main
text.
text now, talking about
Yeah,
this.
we're getting there.
And the line sometimes maybe is a little unclear, but I think that going by the definition of like this is the driving force of the plot as number one, and then Xena specific number two, that it involves their like soulmate connection, I think is for me the big definition of what is main text. What do you guys think?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think you could go even further and say it's not even necessarily like, you know, when they're talking about the soulmate thing, which only really kicks in late season 4, you know, their relationship is so foregrounded even as early as like season 3. Yeah.
But I mean, like, they react. I honestly, for me, it's more like, hey, in a regular, whatever, your day-to-day show, like, that would be a dude and this would be a lady, and they would be reacting this way, like, crazy, freaking out at each other, like, season 1, episode 1. This is the relationship.
Yeah.
So you have
It's
stuff
true.
going on in season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have a list of 6. I
That's-
tried to be 5, but it's 6.
Wow.
What, do you guys have a list? as
I
well?
certainly have a lot of
moments.
I have more for this than I do for
more,
subtext.
more for this and subtext. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think that's, I mean, it's
Because I
just-
feel even little moments would count for this. You know,
Sure.
like the, you know, famous campfire scene from Callisto. That is main text to me. Even if, you know, like, I
Hercules,
suppose... I know,
mother you.
I know.
Hercules mother you.
But it's a super romantic
Yes.
moment.
It is
It's,
one
you
of
know,
the
it's about
best.
their relationship. It's about what's important to Xena. It's about cuddling.
Yes. Cuddling.
Another one, which people don't bring up all that much, is Vera's favorite episode.
Oh, God.
Now I'm blanking on what it's called. The one with the giants.
Oh, God.
Early season
Giant
2.
Slayer?
Giant Slayer,
Written
yeah.
by Terrence Winter.
Right. Good point. Where they hold hands in that one scene.
That's like one of my favorite
Again,
moments.
these like kind of moments of comfort that
Yeah.
to me are romantic.
That's like not only like, it is one of my favorite moments, and I will use it in every fucking Xena bit ever, because it's like she's comforting her and then there's like the thunderstorm.
Yeah, right. And there's no music over that moment.
No,
so
it's just really
the-
nice.
yeah.
Hand holding is like a huge sign of intimacy in this show, obviously.
Yes, for sure.
But that's like what they can allow
Yeah.
on screen.
Which
Yeah,
may-
so much hand holding.
Oh yeah,
So
it's
much
good,
beautiful
it's
hand
good,
holding.
It's beautiful.
which maybe brings us to One Against an Army,
Oh boy.
the ultimate. Which, I mean, I'm sure you maybe see people talk about it as subtext, but I mean, to me, that is just like
I mean, that
the most
episode
It's
is
the plot.
main
that's the
texty
whole-
romantic
yes.
episode.
The plot.
Yeah.
I singled out, so I have my little list. I singled out one specific moment in it, though there are many, many, many in it.
It better be the hair.
It's the hair.
Okay, good.
I mean, the hair is literally the best. Oh, the best.
hair.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
There's, of course, the hand clasping, soulmates, Sia on the other side, whoop, all that stuff. We've talked about that episode as being kind of like the height of the most important relationship stuff between these two that makes the finale make sense to us. The moment where Gabrielle has the dream where Xena dies, it's very horrific. She wakes up, she looks over, she sees beautiful sleeping Xena, and just looks at her and kind of strokes her hair. Wow. Yeah. What is that?
Yeah.
It's really powerful.
And we talked about, like, Renee had a quote about she was just literally looking at Xena and thinking about how beautiful she is. And, like, how this might be their last night. And holy shit.
It really translates.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
that moment can't mean anything else.
No, it can't.
Yeah.
It's the best. Wow.
For me, well, first I'm going to say Remember Nothing because she chooses, Xena gets a chance to, granted it's like kind of shitty, but like her previous, and I don't mean this in any kind of way other than like how it is, her love of her life bro is resurrected.
Actual bro.
Yeah, Lysias is back, you guys. He's not dead. She gets a chance to, like, live a life with him alive. And yet she sees how fucked up Gabrielle is. And she's like, sorry, buddy. We gotta kill you again.
It's true. That is maintext.
That's
a
great choice.
She chooses Gabrielle over her brother.
That's really awesome
hardcore.
Choice. I love that.
And my one of my favorite moments is in Maternal Instincts.
Ooh.
With, child murders are happening.
Yeah.
So many of them.
We have
not just one, two.
So many. We have funeral pyres happening, and Gabrielle says, I love you to Xena. And that's like words that are coming out of her mouth.
Wow.
And that's very good.
In that moment.
And it's straight up text.
Gosh. Woof.
Yeah.
Though they're the subtext, like she's saying I love you, and what she means is I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Okay, we're not talking about that. But we're also talking about just like the words I love
the
you.
Intensity and the depth.
Yeah.
It all.
Absolutely.
Is that, I think that's the first time they said
I
this.
believe so.
Yeah,
we had a lot to say about that.
List?
Oh, God. I don't know.
Oh, I got more.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Keep hitting me. I'll come back to you.
Okay.
To me.
All right.
I like rum.
Me too. I've only done the one so far, so I got more. Maybe this one obvious, but I think that again, it's another one of those like can't not mention and is also simultaneously a fave. Xena commissioned a very gay lesbian poem.
Oh, God, yeah.
From Sappho.
This one.
For Gabrielle's birthday.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I can't call that subtext. I think it's very main text. It's very, very obvious. It's very 100%. If you have any conception of Sappho, number one, and then also the lyrics of the poem. I do think it's funny that, like, Lucy Lawless makes a face as Xena in the scene that makes it seem like Xena hasn't read the poem yet and is kind of like surprised by the depth of feeling.
But Xena can't read, so.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's why she hasn't
But she's
read it
also
yet.
like playing it as like a dude who's like,
she's just
not
playing it
you know,
cool.
Yeah, cool for the feels.
And it's just such a wonderful thing that exists. Like, Xena commissioned a poem from Sappho for Gabrielle for her birthday.
And you see
really
also on Xena's face just how like nervous she is.
So nervous.
Which is wonderful.
I love the reaction.
And
her reactions are perfect.
Yeah, that's not a friend present giving moment.
No.
Okay, so I have another one also from season 6. Who's Gurkhan when Xena gets the shit beat out of her in order to spare Gabs from being killed. Good job. I got that one correct.
Good job.
Katie just showed me her list where that was included, so now I feel really good.
That's really good. Yeah.
I picked the correct one.
Yeah.
Listen, wait. So on a show that's filled with moments, if I'm just writing down like 5 or 6, like, I don't know, is this specifically what you're saying, like, when she's being tortured?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she sees
and then sees,
she
ghost
conjures
a
gabs,
special dance.
Yes.
Which had been
dance?
set up earlier in the episode, this idea of seeing your lost love. Yeah.
What is that? She has conjured a sexy dancing Gabrielle to get her through this.
Yeah.
That's text. That's not
That's
subtext.
text. And
What is that? That's text.
In any other run-of-the-mill, like, show where, like, there's, like, a guy and he's being tortured, like, he would see that same sort of image of his beloved.
Yeah, good one. That's a good one. Another one I have, I mean, again, because I'm just a basic bitch, so I have, like, all of When Fates Collide.
Yeah.
As an episode?
Mean,
oh, yeah.
That's probably the most romantic
Again,
episode.
if you, like, going back to your take the plot away, and it would not exist. You know, the whole episode would be gone. You have, number one, this very Shakespearean longing gazes across a balcony. You have a moment for us that we talked about that where they give the rose.
Yeah.
Which we talked about being tied to Tipping the Velvet, which is a queer novel that is amazing, and you should read it and also watch the miniseries.
Yep.
So, like, that might be, like, a personal thing, but it's part of it. And then just, you know, the whole, I'm just going to destroy the entire world for this one person who I love so much is very intense. That's a very intense choice to make as a character. Yeah. But the moment that I actually, like, pinpointed is Alti.
Alti?
Yeah. And it's Alti, and I think why I did that is because it kind of harkens back to just the subtext line, but being like a text line. And she has this, now, Fook, I didn't write down the whole quote, which is dumb because I wanted to reference it. But basically she says to Caesar, what wouldn't Caesar give to have Xena look at him that way?
Yes.
The way she looks at Gabrielle.
Yes.
And there's no way to interpret that line other than Xena is looking at Gabrielle like a lover, and Xena is married to Caesar. And the line is like, Caesar should be jealous that Xena is looking at Gabrielle this way. It's not a line like your previous seasons, very early seasons of Subtext. It's just like...
It's good.
He wouldn't give to have her look at him this way.
Right.
Yeah, that's, like, there's no other way to interpret it. So that was, like, a fun part of an episode that's, like, entirely main text.
Yeah.
I mean, being basic, let's talk about Eyes of March.
Yes!
My second favorite, I Love You.
Oh, well, yeah.
Well, actually, it's the first favorite.
Yeah.
But it's very good. And
I can't decide. They're both...
I like Lights of March
I love
as an
that they
episode
only
more.
say it when the world is burning.
Well, it's important, and I feel like, you know, talking about how, like, the show can't really be gay overtly, so they throw it in. And those this classic 90s moments where it's like, you allow the gay because it's, like, so textual right now because of, like, intensity happening around it. So yeah, I mean that's
the way of friendship.
The way of friendship.
Friendship.
Even though obviously it's friendship. That is, you know, one of the most romantic scenes in all of Xena.
Okay, can you still quote it? Like I wish I could have read your scrolls.
I wish I could
or whatever.
I wish I could have read your scrolls just once. You would have liked that. Because she can't read. She can read. We know she can read. She can also write. As we know, because just as popped into my brain, we haven't mentioned the Ring trilogy.
Yeah.
I guess because we were singling out favorites. I do enjoy it a great deal.
Yeah, it's obviously not
it's silly
our
and fun.
It's not my favorite.
The fucking note that she leaves Gabrielle with
the messy handwriting
and the lipstick kiss. Yeah,
that's fucked up.
Obviously, that's one of the great kisses of.
I mean, yeah, and
Xena Gabs.
That's a very
that needs to be on any list of subtext main text for that reason alone.
Yeah, it's a huge moment.
And I like when they ride on the flying horse situation at the end, and it's cute.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a trope, like Sleeping Beauty. It's, like, ingrained in maybe everyone. as a trope. So you have Xena coming in at the end of the episode to wake Gabrielle from her slumber with true love's kiss. Like, what else is that but main text?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to jump over
No.
a huge Xena Gabrielle moment to talk about not Xena and Gabrielle.
That's okay.
Like, Brunhilde
Well,
fucking
yeah.
loved the shit out of Gabrielle so much.
She absolutely
She became a fucking
loved her.
ring of fire.
Honestly,
for her.
okay, we haven't talked about a couple of things. That was amazing. She became a ring of fire for her. The look that she gives when she sees that Xena and Gabs have that relation.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the scene where Gabs is bandaging up Xena's knee, like she sees
that's a
it.
good
She
scene.
sees it and she's like, oh.
Oh, yeah.
Like you see that on her
Yeah.
face, like
Yeah.
on Brittany's face, yeah.
She was really
Whoa.
into Gabs.
Yeah, 100%. And I think again another thing, like I feel like I've been using the word remiss too many times because I like
You're remiss in your use
I'm
of
gonna-
remiss.
I'm gonna like forget something, but Aphrodite and Gabs.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God. How could I forget Gaphrodite in this list?
It's okay. It's okay. You haven't forgotten it. It's on there now. It's there.
It's
I'm
a wonderful.
so upset. It's
Vera's
so
maybe
good.
favorite.
Well, I mean, it's one,
One
of my
of your
favorite
favorites.
because I love to be
Xena and Gabs
hipster.
is like last on Xena, on Xena's list. On
too
Vera's
obvious.
list.
Too obvious. It's a choice.
Vera's such a hipster. It's just like, oh.
So, hey, what are your favorite subtext, main text with Gaphrodite?
Well, I love Gaphrodite when she's like in the tub.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Gabs
Talking about aphrodisiacs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, you know, I love the moment in the God, you know, where there's like an almost kiss, although they
Right.
ruin it by like Gabrielle's reaction.
Well, yeah, it's messed up. Well, she's messed up. I mean,
yeah, whatever.
Aphrodite is
Yeah.
under,
Yeah.
an influence. So
Yeah,
it's a
but
sad
whatever.
kind of
It's
thing.
sad, and that's why I love it. It's like the most serious moment.
Didn't Alex talk about that?
She
in
did.
The
In
interview
Xena
that she did for
Xena
Xena
Retreat, yeah. And then she talked about how she was really into the idea of Carol too.
Yes, that was your prom.
Thanks, guys.
Vera was like, yes, Carol too, and Alex was like, yes, Carol too. I love her. She's fantastic.
She's wonderful.
No, but like, you know, I always love the serious moments. So like anything funny is like cute and whatever. But like
you
when
wanna
it
get
gets
to
to the
the-
meat of it,
it's
it's real
dark.
good.
Yeah.
So when like way later when she's like spare the bard,
Yes.
that's a fucking
wonderful.
favorite moment of
Beautiful.
mine for Gaphrodite.
So good.
Like for sure.
Wow. Yeah. Ooh, gosh, this is the gayest show ever made. Oof. Do people know? I think I only had one more thing on my list, so it might be a good segue. Yep, I'd mentioned this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, so I haven't mentioned this one.
Is it the Abyss?
No, it's not the Abyss. We keep saying the Abyss, and it's funny because when you say that, for some reason in my head, I'm not thinking about the episode The Abyss.
I'm thinking about James Cameron's The
I'm
Abyss.
thinking about James Cameron's The Abyss, which they reference 100% in dialogue in Is There a Doctor in the House in the very
That's
gay
right.
TV CPR.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. Is that what you're referencing now?
No.
That's not on your list either?
I love TV CPR. How has that not come up?
Right.
What a great moment.
Yeah. But that's a season 1 finale.
Season 1 finale.
Classic.
Kissing but not kissing.
Yes. Yes.
Again, remiss to not.
And the freak out that
Yeah.
Xena
Even
goes,
more than the kiss.
The fucking
That is
like
the kiss.
pounding on the chest
Yes.
situation.
Exactly.
Yes.
I love the episode The Abyss. It is wonderful. Wow. It is everything. No. The last thing on my list is actually maybe like a funny, but when I say what it's from, people will be like, how is it a funny? The last thing that I specifically wrote as a moment on my list was from A Friend in Need,
Yeah.
which we can talk about
When
a
they're
little
birds.
bit more.
Gay
No,
birds.
Not when they're birds.
Yodoshi a hawk?
No.
Yodoshi a hawk?
No.
Still gonna make my party remix. Sorry,
Now,
Katie.
now listen. There's 1,000 moments in A Friend in Need.
Let's
that
list
are
them all.
Over.
We did that.
We did it already. The pinch, the water transfer, la-di-da-di-da. Okay, my favorite line ever. Xena, Tiwakemi. this is my soulmate, Gabrielle.
Yes.
That's on my list. And I had to put that on there because I think it's like kind of like the summation in the finale of this whole thing that, again, in the Whoosh article, we reference it's like the soulmate subtext, which we're calling the basically Xena-Gabrielle relationship main text. Here, it's just literally Xena introducing her current girlfriend to her ex-girlfriend as her soulmate. It's not you can't get any more textual than that.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what anybody is watching when they watch this show and they see this character go, this is my soulmate, Gabrielle, to her ex-girlfriend who wrote her this insanely beautiful, very, very gay poetry in like the same episode, which is also not subtext because it's just textually gay poetry.
Right, and as far as episode order, follows the Sappho poem, another gay poem.
Right, yeah.
exactly.
Gay poetry is a big theme at the end of Xena, yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, the whole of Xena is a very big, gay, lovely poem.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah. So that was my last thing on my little note, but I'm sure there's 100 other things, but I truly just love the delivery of that line. This is my soulmate, Gabrielle.
It's
just like we've been watching seasons upon seasons of this since season 1. I guess ostensibly 4.
Oh, okay.
But of the like sort of
the soulmate stuff.
Overt.
Soulmate stuff. Oh, I actually did have one more other little beat that is kind of like a Katie thing.
Okay.
It's sort of dark and ties into the same thing, which is from Fallen Angel.
Whoa.
That's pretty gay.
Which has, the good touch.
Yeah, that's like the gayest shit.
I know, but I love the end of it.
Textual.
And
oh, yes.
When they are resurrected and Gabrielle says, we're going to be together for eternity. And Xena says, yeah.
And she's like,
and it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I love that
It's a little
too.
bit, yeah. Wait, did we compare that to like the end of like The Graduate? And
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, because there is something, and Liv, I know we've discussed this, like you kind of have somewhat of an issue with it where there is like maybe something sad about it or something just like the lack of free will in that they're just like stuck in this eternal wheel of doing this. I do love that moment because it is a little strange. It has a little bit of a darkness to it. As opposed to some other moments. But it's super overt. We're going to be together for eternity. Yeah. Is the line.
Yep.
Vera, what's your
mine
last
was still from A Friend in Need.
Yeah.
Which is that after This is my soulmate, Gabrielle, Akemi, would you like to have a threesome with us?
Yes.
And then they do.
Yes. The tattooing.
Yep.
I would like to talk about this a little bit yet further. In terms of like somewhat problematic, I feel maybe. I don't know if it necessarily is in A Friend in Need. Maybe it is because it's like this overtly kind of Japanese tattoo stuff. But they also do it as well with the Mendi in the India arc. Again, very problematic, 100%. And kind of ties into some like stuff from my teen years when I had not yet watched Xena, and Willow and Tara do the same thing.
Right.
Oh.
The
So
back,
it's just
writing on the back.
Yeah.
But that's
again,
a Sappho poem.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. That kind of like tattooing thing, like just being this
I
sort
write
of
on your skin.
soft gay lady tattooing each other with like a temporary tattoo, except in A Friend in Need when it is clearly a real tattoo.
Now, Buffy did that first, right? Because at that point,
Yes.
Xena,
Yeah.
boo.
Season 4 of Xena.
That's true.
Well, you're doing the
the
Mendi because the real the back tattoo is the
is
real
season 4 of Buffy
reference.
Would
which
have
would have
been
been after
after.
the
Yeah.
Mendi.
Yeah,
so
Xena
Xena
did
did it first.
All right,
We
all
do
right.
have an episode
But then-
upcoming
yeah.
that is going to talk about
More,
this yet in
more
further detail.
about Buffy.
Stay tuned. But yeah, that's very and you're right, that is Sappho, so maybe it's slightly less problematic than I remembered.
It's
but
straight Sappho.
but yeah, I just kind of have this I guess formative experience of that kind of very like sensual process between two queer characters.
It was good.
I
liked it too.
Yeah. And the threesome specifically is
That was
very
fun.
good. I think it's just great, like, because there's no, and especially on like Kimmy's part, who people love to hate, there's no, like, animosity there.
Yeah, it's only
between her and
forgiveness.
Gabrielle. No.
You know, it's a show about forgiveness.
Exactly.
And that threesome is kind of like the ultimate version of it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Remember how we have like 7 hours on those two
I know, that's why when
episodes?
you're like, let's list the moments of friend in need. I was like, no, please.
No.
7 hours.
Really, literally.
Even more, bro.
Remember
We
when...
described every shot in the episode.
Listen, okay, we're talking about this episode. Xena and Gabrielle make out in A Friend in Need. They do.
They do.
just I'm sorry that there's a slight water transfer involved.
Yeah.
But for the
But it's a
most part,
makeout.
it didn't need to be that intense. Like,
Yeah.
and it was. Because
But also the teaching of the pinch. Which
teaching
is
of the
such
pinch.
A,
Oh, I mean,
a
that's-
sensual moment in its own right.
Don't even
Teaching the
talk to me
pinch.
about that scene. That's
I
like
won't.
the best.
we've done it.
That was like eye sex, but also touching.
But also like nothing more intimate than like literally having someone's life in your hands.
Yes.
Like because she
Yeah.
undoes the
Yeah,
pinch.
the trust,
Yeah.
but also the slight darkness of her kind
Yeah.
of like forcing it
And
upon
again,
her.
I know there's
Yeah.
some like weird narrative confusion there because she teaches her how to put it
off.
previously, but not how to
Yes.
put it on.
Right, because that's a killing
different
move
skills.
versus a life-saving move.
Right.
So I get it.
It's a
I
big
get
deal that she now knows how to put it on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it. Well, this show's
Holy
pretty
shit.
gay.
We got through this whole episode without mentioning Heart of Darkness. Do we need to quickly mention
Yeah, listen,
that?
I think like people honestly at this point will be glad of us just mentioning anything. Like we were given the prompt best subtext and main text moments of Xena, which to me actually sounds just like all
To
of
the
the
whole
best
show.
moments of Xena, which is a very big topic. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Heart of Darkness?
Well, you know, they wear latex bodysuits and like
They have the big gay dance until fucking Virgil interrupts
I
them.
know.
I love that dance. That's interesting because like it's true when I wasn't sure exactly how I should go about this, I considered putting it on my little list and I didn't because of the weird sort of outside influence of
Yeah.
the dance. However, it is the sexiest fucking shit you've ever seen.
Really?
It's on the
gay.
screen. And
Yeah.
it's like you can't look at that and go, this show is heterosexual.
Plus, season 6 had
Exactly.
all their butts in it. Like, well, not their butts, but it had butts that were supposed to be them.
That's true.
That's
Wait,
pretty gay.
what?
The butt
Someone
doubles
else's
are
butt?
the unsung
Yeah, the
heroes.
butt doubles
Yeah.
in the Africa episodes. And
Yeah, legacy
Right.
butts.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were about Heart of Darkness. I was like, there's no,
No,
butts
there's
in
no
there.
butts in there.
No, they do get out of that tub with the butts.
Yeah. Just, so you can
And
put
of
that in
course,
your
as
mind
we
grapes.
mentioned, that comes from fandom.
There you go.
Fandom author wrote
Right.
the episode and was like, there will be butts. And everyone was like, hooray.
And of course, like all the hot tub scenes throughout the show.
All the
which we
hot tub
haven't, like,
I
I mean,
know,
you could
it's
just
like-
name them for
It's
this
sort
prompt.
of like,
yeah.
exactly. It's sort of like there's some stuff that just kind of like goes unsaid. Like, a day in the life, every moment of it
Yeah.
is subtext and wonderful. Subtext. Because it's early, they're in the tub together. Dude, they love a tub.
Yeah.
They love a fucking hot tub. Anyway.
Splish splash.
Yeah.
Splish splash.
I mean, yeah.
Maybe there's no better note
kind
to
of
end on than
inarguable.
splish splash.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
very
don't know. I
true.
hope this answered the question. I did have two
I
of
mean-
these cans of Mai Tais when doing this episode, but I think that it
I don't
only,
think anyone's going to complain.
I think it only improved upon the
Yeah.
episode. Yeah.
I
pretty good.
hope we covered everything, but I'm sure there are ones we've forgotten.
Yeah.
So you
Send us
guys,
what we
please,
forgot.
yeah, we're happy to hear some of your faves, and maybe you define these things a little differently from
Yeah.
us, and I'd love to hear like
Yeah.
people's different ways of classifying it.
I would too.
Yeah.
I like the way we have it. I do. I think it really makes sense. I think subtext as sex, which is slightly less important to me personally, but I understand how it is important as representation, being like one thing, and then the soulmate kind of situation being their like overriding connection to each other as this more main text kind of situation. I like that.
It's interesting that like every time we talked about this episode, or not this episode, this like the show in this episode, I like constantly compared it to like the X-Files, which is another, it's a hetero, couple, but they're not like, they were not made text on screen. So a lot of the same, I'm sure we mentioned this in our podcast previously. Yeah. How could we not have?
I don't think
because
we have.
These are two, they like the soulmate thing is the same for them.
Yeah.
And so like it was acceptable in the X-Files, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
And they did the same kind of shit. Like Mulder and Scully freaked out whenever they were like dead in season 1 or whatever.
I love that stuff.
The same thing with Xena and Gab.
They're transcendent. I think there's a lot of things. I think there's a lot to be said about like main text as this like transcendent bond between these two characters, and I think that that's true of Mulder and Scully. I think that's absolutely true of Xena and Gabrielle. I think like it's hard to separate sometimes like your personal attachment and your personal feelings about some of this stuff. Like, so like for me, coming from a place where like the like sexual part of the relationship for both of these couples is less important to me. But like for something like Xena and Gabrielle, I can see where having that be more explicit on screen is very important for representation. Like if you are coming at it like, I would love for like lesbian representation on screen and to see these characters being intimate on screen and having that be normalized, it's like very important. I 100% support that, and like as a person coming from a place where like it's like less important for me to see, like that. Yeah, I just like I totally understand where you're coming from with like the Mulder and Scully thing.
Yeah, because it's like, well, unfortunately, one of the couples was just like not allowed to be, overtly gay on screen because it would be gay. But Mulder and Scully is like a choice that Chris Carter made.
I know.
But then, we're not talking about what happened later.
That's like a whole can of worms about like TV and like if you put your leads together and they fuck, it's just not going to be compelling anymore. Like the moonlighting thing.
Yeah. And yet, Xena and Gabs are super compelling.
Yeah.
Super compelling.
Yeah. And we've totally talked about this before. I think you just gotta do it right.
Yeah.
Regardless.
But yeah.
Xena and Gabs are the best.
They are.
That's the last word.
That is. So let's just end on that.
Before I just like ramble into oblivion on our like rum-based rant.
Once again, I want to thank all our new listeners. Welcome. And our patrons. Thank you so much. And all y'all who are stuck with us forever, you guys rock. Xena and Gabs are the best, and you can follow us on all this stuff and things.
Yeah, XenaWarriorPodcast.com. We'll have all the episodes and links that you need. And then if you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, you can like rate, leave reviews, all that fun stuff we love to see. You can listen to the episodes like on any of your favorite podcast catcher kind of situation. You can find it, except for Spotify, which we have to
I guess we have to like put ourselves on Spotify
and
now.
Then also we are on Twitter at Xena Warrior Pod and Facebook and Tumblr at Xena Warrior Podcast. And then on Patreon, if you search Patreon Xena Warrior Podcast, we are there doing our Loose Lots IMDb experience. As previously mentioned, we fairly recently posted an episode about a smorgasbord of Lucy stuff, including the L word and bitch slap with Renee. And all kinds of fun stuff. The Les Chat sketch that I adore with Tig Notaro. And we upcoming, as we mentioned, will be Spartacus. So go check that out. And yeah, that's all.
The power.
The passion.
The podcast.